to another video. I am Mel. This one will feature Mr. or brother C. Freeman L, who has transitioned. This is a conscious reaction video or occult reaction video. Occult science is occult knowledge type thing. Yeah, so let's get ready to jump into it. If you want to book a reading with me, want to check out my online shop, or connect with me, everything will be in the description below. Or I'm also going to put like some type of subscribe and like for me. Okay, subscribe and like, please, please, please. It helps me push out my content, and it's like, even if you like, that's like a tip for me. You feel me? Like, it doesn't have to be monetary. That's like a tip for me, and it helps me push my content out and helps my channel grow, so these messages can get to those who need to hear them. Okay, the tribe, we're growing the tribe. Okay, so yeah, let's jump into it. Let's see what he has to say. It's a part 2 to this, so I might do 2 parts, or I'll just do this one because this one is already like 37 minutes. So let's see. Oh yeah, Serious Times Media, that's where I get this video from.
You don't starve so somebody else can eat. Okay, that we're not doing martyrdom, we're doing resurrection. All right.
A lot of times, just by freeing yourself,
you can free others.
you free others because they see you, and nothing that we do, goes unnoticed or does not have some type of effect on others. Regardless of who they are.
Whether it's negative or positive.
Yeah, you can influence.
You can influence.
Yeah, you can
by
influence.
setting an example. I mean, if you're
Right.
seeing yourself, and the thing.
Energy is contagious. That's why you see this big hype with the influencers and the big surge in like getting paid from social media and stuff. Like, influence is the name of the game right now. But the only thing about that is, like, sometimes people aren't living how they say they are. Okay. But when it comes to like this conscious stuff, even in spirituality, some people aren't even doing the work. They just look like they are. And I always say, like, when you really know how you doing, that person is doing the work is the energy, what you feel. Are you gaining anything, or are they telling you how to do this, how to do that? Are they giving you the tools? Are they gatekeeping? And some, yes, you got to gatekeep, because some people can't handle certain power because they might, you know what I'm saying? Because knowledge is power. But some things, yes, you have to gatekeep. But I think it's more of a intuitive thing. When the time is right, the answers will always come. Okay, the teacher will always come. Okay, or the student will always evolve if the students are putting in the work. Same thing with the teacher, because the teacher was once a student as well. Okay, so that's just how it works. Okay, but like I say, this is significant because of them repeatedly saying influence. You can only influence people when you hold a certain type of energy about yourself. Okay, some type of knowing about yourself, or some type of talent that you have, some type of knowledge, or you're beautiful, or shit like that. It's all type of shit that can put you in the element of being influential, whether that's big or small or average.
Things that you do, and things start to work in your life because of following whatever. Then once you get to a particular point, people that see what's going on in your life, at some point they start to ask you, well, what are you doing?
Right.
What is it that's working for you? So
Right.
it's something that,
Right.
Good.
Now we can spend a lot of the rest of this time speculating here. Let's try to get a little bit more information. I appreciate where you are in terms of your thinking, Charlie, and that's very Moorish. We are by nature universal beings. We're learning how to gain that perception. But I tend to think that many times we want to run across the street and save the stranger before we save those in our own house and upstairs.
Yeah.
By save, I mean help to enlighten, help to educate, help to correct one's thinking, to share. You can't help anyone that doesn't want your help. You can't give them your light and your power if they don't want it. Okay?
Yeah, it always falls on deaf ears if you're trying to push knowledge on people or push certain things on certain people. It'll fall on deaf ears. But sometimes these people will remember that. and it stick with them until a little after they have to learn their lesson, but it will stick to them. That's like with my son. I give him little tidbits at a time. I don't want to overwhelm him because I don't want him to be controlled. You feel what I'm saying? Oh, well, my mom said this, so I should do this, or my papa said this, or YouTube said, you know what I'm saying? You got to be how you shape a child. You feel me? And I'm a little free with it. I kind of let him do what he want in a sense of like what he believes, because I feel like it will always be a full circle moment to him coming back to who he's supposed to be. We had a good little conversation about that, because if you don't know yourself, if you can't, figure out what you want out of life, you're always going to be lost. You're going to be running around as a servant, as a slave, or just under the power of other people. Okay, and you will never be happy. So you have to own your own power, okay, and stand true and strong in that power, because you have to and in turn you're gonna send that energy off to somebody when it's time. Even if you just like you working a 9 to 5 and you study and you're not out here in the public just giving out knowledge or nothing like that, or in general, you're not saying much about what you know. That's okay too, because that's your prerogative, and maybe that's what you're here to experience in this realm. Okay.
Each soul must have a certain level of desire in order to transform. See? Otherwise, you're virtually casting your pearls among swine thinking.
Let me remind you of something you said not
Go
long
ahead.
ago. You all, I've been thinking, and I really come to the conclusion that Oprah is the new sojourner.
I said new. I didn't say new.
Well, she's the incarnation
that's
of
right.
sojourner.
Yeah.
Because she speaks to the white female in this country without a doubt.
And no doubt they listen.
They listen.
That's right.
And in that you wonder now, all of the then this black woman has all that influence. Why would she have so much influence if it wasn't in our nature to bring that level of thinking that they are on, the beast like thinking up to another level?
Right.
She's given a avenue that does two things: allows her to express her humanity.
She got the floor.
And two, to gain her rewarding of what she has given in her previous life. She has been effective and influential in many black folks' lives. She is a pro-feminine. She's a feminist first, as a woman. She's not what you would call a spiritual teacher, though they want to put the laurel of guru around her neck.
Right.
But she is an educator. She is a cultivator, from the peculiar viewpoint, that of entertainment, where it's acceptable. But she gets the respect and response of any master teacher in this country. Oprah got a vast audience out there. And a lot of them do. In fact, I recall.
I think Oprah Aquarius.
When she threw this scarf on her shoulder, went downtown. Every other black woman downtown had a scarf on her shoulder. Oh, black women listen to her, but she doesn't deal with Afrocentricity. She doesn't deal with it.
Well, I'm saying that spirit is there.
Yeah. She talks new thought. She talks being grateful, thinking positive. She even had something the rest of them haven't done. She had a woman on there having her whole audience not only pray but meditate. And she's an entertainer. You see? Of course, one can do damn near what you want to do, But you can see these earmarks of this spiritual being in a peculiar situation, trying to raise consciousness. We don't have BET is doing boogaloo. They're not doing. Now they're supposed to be trying to get to some culture now, But we don't have a avenue of television connect where black teachers, educators, cultivators can get to a large percentage of black people. We ain't got it, We ought to have it, but we ain't got it. So, because even though we don't have it, the most popular black woman in America and in the Western Hemisphere, probably the most popular woman, is on television. Every now and then, Oprah does not let you forget that she's still black. She don't let you forget it, you know. You know, she just doesn't do. Just kill the white.
And you know this was back in the day. What is it? 1996. And so that's all I'm gonna say. A little things done changed, baby. Changed.
White boy, you know, that used to represent being black, you know. You ain't black as me. I want them all dead. Damn. That was the thinking of the 60s, man. Chilling thought. Chilling. Whew. Okay, what time is it?
3:35.
What time did we start? 2? Did we get started about 2 o'clock? Okay. Okay, we're going to get a good meditation here, so we're going to halt there. My good advice is get a copy of this book first before you buy the ephemeris. They don't have any up there.
I got that book.
Is that? It looks like one up there. Is that one of them? No. That's blue. This book is purple. The only astrology book you'll ever need. It's good. She explains things clearly. She makes sure you know what she's talking about. Nice
Simple.
big pages, big letters, so we can see what's going on.
And that book is for Western astrology, not Vedic. Okay.
35 minutes. Oh, okay. Well, that's right. You don't put your stuff up there. I have more than 35 minutes worth of talk up here. I don't need any books. This is my subject, my honey.
Astrology. He loves astrology, y'all.
The Mother Zodiacias, the Grand Circle, is the theme. It's how we become free man. Yeah, you've also know that you don't hear folks saying freedom, free man, liberation. How many times you hear that today as opposed to 1965, 66? Time you turn around, brother, freedom, blah, blah. You know, throw it up there for you, you know. Yeah, might have even forgot how to spell the word. But it's still about freedom. It has never been about anything else. Hell, I don't want a black Ku Klux Klan running the show. No more than I want a white Ku Klux Klan running the show. We don't want to trade oppressors. The problem of the collective psychology is that those who get in charge of a system that's designed to take advantage of will have to take advantage of. Whoever is sitting in the damn chair, he's sitting in a chair of disadvantage for the masses. That's just how it is. Yeah. That's the system doing it. So it doesn't please me that Jesse Jackson would have gotten to the White House and been Bill Clinton or Bush or somebody else who have to make and take away laws that they made in order to figure out and finagle the income around. No, we're looking for that which we can only find within ourselves. Nobody has it, nobody can take it from you, and nobody can give it to you. You got it.
And this goes back to the last video I just did. I'll put it at the end of the video or in the description. When Brother Pennant was also, because that's what he teach anyway. Brother Pennant think it's individuality, it's knowing thyself, is doing the work for thyself. Basically, it's the same thing he's saying, but he uses astrology. You know, it's like I said, it's different type of tools, different type of ways to know thyself. Get in where you fit in. Period. You don't have to do anything that anybody else is doing. Get in where you fit in. Where are your passions? This will align you to the true knowledge of self. Okay? With some, other practical things that you have to do. But in general, if you are going down the path and the purpose of your life, you can't miss it. You feel me? I guess confirmation with my Echo Pop.
You have to draw it out. Edukare. To draw out that which is within. In the face of the zodiac, this language tells us about that inner self, the Mother Zodiacias, the concept that is left out of 99% of astrology. I'm looking for my chart now, because this culture is based on the patriarchal view of things. The man view of things. Instead of the womb man, the mother view of things, which is the beginning of human civilization, I might add. Because the Rosicrucians did not. Instead of the womb man, the mother.
My bad, y'all. I messed it up. But anyways, this is the book that he has in there. It's very thick, has a lot. If you are into astrology or just want to know about your own self, you have to understand, you don't have to teach this shit to people. Everybody's not a teacher, okay? Somebody has to be the one that learns this, possibly put it in a book, make some ebooks, or, I don't know, makes some type of tarot cards that reflect this. Everybody has their own talent. Everybody has their own way of giving out knowledge or being of service to other people so you can help them become enlightened. So find your route.
View of things, which is the beginning of human civilization, I might add. It begins with Mama. In the legendary, she didn't even need a man to start out with to make a baby. She could do it by herself. I know that's rather shocking. This is about as close as we have to you don't even have the stand out here, to a Moorish chart of the zodiac. And as I confess, this comes from the Rosicrucian literatures, the concept and this chart. The clock of destiny was borrowed by C.M. Bay to do his pamphlets, and a very appropriate one, because the Rosicrucians did not create the clock. They just coined the idea of clock of destiny. That is exactly what the charting of the universe does. We are destined to go somewhere. We are going somewhere. We are not standing still. We are in motion, moving at enormous rate of speed.
Energy is constantly moving. Energy is never truly stagnant. Now, it could be like on the same frequency type thing, but change is constant. So energy changes, it transmutes. So what he's saying is, with these birth charts or astrology charts or the energies of the zodiac, they all represent something. Okay, and if you want me to go deeper into that, I can do that. Just comment below, let me know. But for example, let's think about Scorpio. It's my best example because I love Scorpio energy, because I embody that daily because it's in my 6th house, which is routine, health. Routine, health. It can also be called like a magical house as well, because it's rooted in Virgo energy. Okay, Virgo is the mental, and where does magic start? The mental. But in general, though, these different Scorpio energy is about transforming. You go into the depths within yourself, knowing thyself, cleansing thyself of or understanding. I'm gonna say understanding yourself from your trauma, from internal, circumstances. Nothing outside of you. Okay, you're going within. And like I said, energy is constant, but this is a fixed energy. Okay, so if you're not open to change and deep trauma and hurt and pain and realizations, or going deep into the occult or into subjects, or or whatever it may be, you're going to be stagnant. You're going to hurt. You're going to stay on that same frequency until you change. Eventually you're going to change. You're going to change for better or for worse. It's your decision. Okay? Your decision.
If you think about this, plight 24 hours. Are you all getting the sense that time is zooming? Are you getting that sense? It just does not seem, well, that's because it's speeding up. Every year, the planet moves 1 degree faster than it did the last year. So we're definitely traveling. You see, the big idea that Johnson Bay and CM Bay seem to push more in their teaching. Of course, they didn't even call themselves teachers. They wanted to be called instructors, which is all right, you know, because the reality of the thing is there's only one teacher, and that's your own higher consciousness. That's the real teacher.
Facts.
But someone...
Yourself. You are the real teacher. Okay? Anytime you experience anything, you should be decoding that. You should be figuring out what it's trying to teach you. Even the smallest shit. Even the smallest shit people say to you. Or if you get triggered, or even if you're like happy and ecstatic, like why am I feeling this joyous thing? Because whatever, okay. And you should take note of that. Take note of what triggers you, and take note of what makes you feel at home, makes you feel good, about yourself. And even in between, in the in between, because it's different categories. It doesn't always have to be happiness in being triggered. It could be like I don't know, jealous, envy, contentment, joy. Did I say joy? I think it has happiness. Happiness and joy is pretty much almost the same thing, but joy is more is lasting. Joy is lasting.
One has to stimulate. The concept teach means to touch. The only thing you can touch with teach is the mind. To stimulate, to inspire, to open. Just with a word. One brother mentioned something to me about those times when you were having or seeing something. A brother named Don Freeman. And when he said that, my astrolight clicked on. And I could see this little bulb in the back of my head. It was a brownish, bronzish, shining bulb. I remembered a dream I had. And he didn't know that, but he stimulated my consciousness. Mm-hmm. That's what teaching does, particularly when it's about the soul or self, because the soul is waiting to hear certain keys, certain ideas, certain truths. See? Then it responds. That's real educare. The rest of it is virtually instructions and skill getting. Mm-hmm. We already talked about the...
Take notes, y'all. Take notes. For real.
The core ran. I love that little idea. It stimulates me. I was looking for a chart here. The ones I would like to talk about right now in relationship to the zodiac are in my tube. Oh, okay. That's what I can do. One of the questions I wanted to raise, what chapter and what verse in the scripture shows the disorganization of the African's self-image, the defaming, the distortion of the African self-image? A very important chapter and verse in the Bible. Anybody know what that is? Right? Remember the chapter? Do you remember the verse? You wouldn't know that unless you see my tapes.
You told us one.
The oracle to... There's two oracles relevant to us in Isaiah. The oracle 2 and the oracle 2. Anybody remember? These are the kinds of insights when you're talking to brother believer and sister Jesus that can help them as well as block some of that fervor she'll bring to you, about this distortion and tampering with the Bible. Mm-hmm. That Elijah threw out there, but he didn't underline anything. Isaiah chapter 18, the oracle to Ethiopia, or Cush. And it's such a key point because it is a comparative in terms of looking at the Bible. And, you know, because a lot of stuff that is said theologically, people don't try to prove, can't prove, and don't care if you believe it or not. They're going to say it and believe it. When you look at the King James Version of the Scripture, which was written in published in 1611. We don't know when it was written.
Right.
Published in 1611. And read this verse that you never hear from Reverend Biscuit's pulpit. Never, ever. And I emphasize that little nasty remark. I try to make this book relevant so that you all will be willing to buy one, carry one, and study one. Oh, I got 5 of them at home, the brother said. Well, hell, why don't you bring one once? Go ahead, read it out.
Chapter 18, verse 1. Woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit, y'all.
vessels of bulrushes.
Good, decent white folks, Christian, were willing to have slaves. It had nothing to do with the government. It had to do with that fella in the pulpit who could justify this stuff. You know, of course, they ended up with a terrible schizophrenia, but at least they could make it recede to the back of their head. You know. Now, that was published in approximately 1611. That is the second publication of Bible. The first publication is the Confraternity Douay version of the Bible, the Catholic Bible. This is a retranslation of that script, published in 1895. Okay, I'm going to read the same 2 verses from the same chapter of the Holy Bible. Alas, O land of whirring wings, which lies beyond the rivers of Cush, which sends envoys by the sea, even in papyrus vessels on the surface of the waters. Go, swift messengers, to a nation tall and smooth, to a people feared far and wide, a powerful and oppressive people, whose land the rivers divide. That's whole another Bible, ain't it? So you can see why they changed that, okay? Okay. Okay, well, let me finish my thought here. I'm trying to point out here the distortion and the pattern and rationale of how this mental distortion took place. Not overnight, not over, you know, a period of weeks and months, but a period of time.
Right.
Okay? The declining mental status.
What I'm saying over time, think about it for an example like slavery. We were told we didn't know how to read, so we were told things out of the Bible that weren't even written in the Bible. I think if you look at 12 years to say, he'd be like, he'd be using the N-word. Ain't no N-word in no doggone Bible. Like, be for real. And he would like say off the wall stuff to like manipulate the slaves to make sure they're good slaves and they do what he say and stuff like that. I think it was 12 years a slave. But anyway, we couldn't read. So basically this was instilled in our ancestors, instilled a long time ago, and that shit seeps into your mind and your DNA. It shapes your DNA. So from then on out, we were taught these things, and people didn't know. A lot of people didn't know any better. So that's where generational trauma and curses, all kind of were conjured up and created, because we didn't know no better until people who had spiritual gifts, spiritual knowledge, spiritual downloads, prophetic dreams, guidance from God, started to open the eyes of those that were willing to learn. Like I said, you had some slaves that, okay, she over here teaching them about so and so and so, and you go tell on them now she dead, or she get, raped or beat, or, punished or can't eat, or her kids get stripped from her or something, like, or him. You feel what I'm saying? So there are certain people placed on this earth to enlighten us, and that's why we are here today, to still keep up with that enlightenment, because it's still people that are stuck in the matrix. It's still people are stuck in whatever generational trauma that they may have, or generational consciousness that they may have, or mindset that they may have. And they've been doing this for years, and they're still doing it. Okay, they just manipulate the way that they're doing it. They do it through social media now. They do it through the school systems, of course. And they do it through college. Like, they do it through commercials, you know. So it's pretty much still the same thing. But all right, y'all, my dang on battery went dead, so I lost my train of thought. But I believe I was talking about how they shaped and shifted the consciousness so that we were like slaves mentally, or servants mentally, type thing. So yeah, let's just go forward, because I forgot what I was making. I was like, dang, my battery died.
Of the African genius took a while. You see, but they were doing these tricks. You see. Okay. Yes. Okay. Go ahead.
My questions.
Just ask the questions. Don't make no excuses. Go ahead.
So if that's based on the class, Friday. Okay. So why, if the translation has changed that much from the Catholic Bible to the
Protestants.
Then why then is it still, why study this new King, well, not new, the King James Version, Protestant version, if everything is going to be that much switched?
Everything is not. I'm being specific here. Okay. That doesn't mean it hasn't been tampered. We know it's been tampered with, because we know this is not the original Christian theological Bible. The Protestants' book is the refutation to the Catholic Church, Catholic theology, and the Catholic Bible, and the Catholic Pope. That's the existence of the Protestant religion, called Protestants. That's why they exist. They protested every damn thing about the Catholic Church, including their book, their robe, and their candles. Okay?
So I think the question I'm asking is talking about more science and the decoding.
Most Moors don't deal with this. You know, this brother back here want to proclaim it as destroyed. They don't even fool with it, you know, because they're not dealing with symbolic language and codex inscriptus, the code and the secrets written in it. A Kabbalistic writer fixed this up. That makes him a Moor, as to whether he wanted to be or not. He used Moorish science to compile it and structure it. If the whole group of them did the book, then they were Moors in their thinking, in their knowledge, and their approach. Okay? Why? This book is in the back of your head, and my head, and his. Just because you say it ain't no good, it ain't right, don't take it out of the back of your head.
Facts. You ain't lying.
Hell, even right now, you say close your eyes and think of Jesus. Most of you see a white man with brown hair.
That's how they programmed us to see Jesus, because that's the entity that, and that's the energy that they wanted us to sacrifice our energy for, to energy harvest us through. So, and clearly, the description that's given in Revelations is not a white man. Be for real. But yeah, everything happens through symbolism. Programming happens through symbolism. I don't know how many times I gotta say that. That's how it happens. Like, but I do picture from time to time. Well, I actually picturing it now in my third eye. You know, it's a Jesus picture. If I remember, I'm gonna put it like on one of these sides. It's one of a black Jesus, and I would rather praise that one than, you know what I'm saying, the other one, only because like the description is so far gone in Revelations that, like, why don't y'all, or, you know, and I think that was more so God. But even the same thing, because yeah, whatever. It's just despicable.
See? True knowledge, accurate knowledge, explains things so that you understand them.
And that's the whole thing about occult knowledge. You have to align with a teacher, or align with books, or align with things that help you actualize the things that you are hearing, and the knowledge being presented to you. Okay, occult knowledge is not bad. Yes, you can do bad shit with occult knowledge. You can do bad shit with just knowing the basics of this. People do it every day on YouTube just to gain money and influence and whatever do, and they're not even practicing this shit. They just know that you like that shit, that you want to hear that for entertainment, to make you feel like you the best thing in the world, because now you got some knowledge and you feel like they on your side. But they really done sold out, or they really done did things that don't align with what they trying to teach you. So that's why it's always best to come back to the self, or align with people that really have your best interest in heart. And those are the people that are going to give you tools and tidbits and help you understand shit. Okay, instead of just telling you. You feel me? They're going to help you understand it.
This alleviates the burden of belief. See? It alleviates knowledge. Understanding alleviates the burden of belief. The burden of belief is you are a sinner when you walk through his door. He don't know your damn name, but he know you're a sinner.
Right.
Okay?
Crazy
And you're
word.
supposed to believe that in order to get saved. Yeah? It has nothing to do with your nature,
Nothing to do.
physical,
with it.
mental, or spiritual. It has everything to do with your psychology. Everything to do. The most guilt-ridden group of human beings down here are Catholic women, black or white.
Damn.
They got the worst complex about their sexuality, their femininity, and their womanhood. Even though they got a virgin woman as God, you know, because she's a virgin, and they ain't. You know. Yeah. You know, you're supposed to think your way out of these mazes somebody else set up. Okay, that's what a Moor does. He ain't buying. I believe. Is he looking yet? I believe. That ain't what he's doing. Moors don't do that. Okay, we're trying to know you the truth, and the truth will set you free. Know you the truth. That's what we are about. That's what you means in Codex Inscriptus. That's
Your
right.
own universe.
That's what you're supposed to know.
And that goes back to my last video. Like I said, I'm gonna tag it. I'll put it in the description. I'll put it in on the end of the video. But this is basically going back to what we were saying. You are the creator of your own universe. You are the mastermind. Anything you think, anything you do, is going to shift and shape your reality. Okay, that's why it's good to know yourself. That's why it's good to love yourself. That's why it's good to take time to understand yourself, because you've came here to this earthly realm to do something. You have a purpose. Figure out what the fuck that is.
That's what we're trying to do. The thematic of this book is not Jesus, it's not Jehovah, it's not angels, it's not the devil. It is God. John chapter 10, verses 31 to 36 is the theme of the Bible. Godhood is the theme. Okay. How you get to that theme is by knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Self-knowledge. That's what any and all study is supposed to be about. Even chemistry, herbs, vitamins, whiskey,
Everything
wine,
else
beer,
big.
and whatever. Will it help me? Will it hurt me? As you study from self out to the world, your environment, your greater environment. Study from yourself inward to the world,
Period.
your inner greater environment. See? That's putting on the crown of life 1 degree at a time. Okay? The backup is found in, as I mentioned, and I keep mentioning it, and I'm always mentioning it, Psalm 82, verse 5 and 8. When you talk about what scripture is he talking about, it's right there in the same book that one came out of. Okay, yes. And the whole of that, I usually never deal with the whole of that scripture. I leave it for you all to study. But nobody's ever brought back the rest of it to me and said, oh, and also, brother, I like to hear that. That's, the brother's been doing some die like men and fall like one of the princes. All right.
Sorry, I gotta push this a little bit.
It made him so mad when I went down to shake his hand.
It sound like you're just talking for the rest, but yeah. So anyways, owning who you are, owning your world, owning your purpose, you can find that through astrology, you can find that through tarot, you can find that through anything that is I can say uplifting, or it just feels familiar maybe. I'm gonna use that word carefully, because sometimes we do things that we're familiar with and it's not really beneficial to our consciousness or our growth of consciousness, or whatnot. But basically what he's saying is you are the master of your own reality. Okay, you are the one who dictates how your life goes. Okay, and to make it go in your favor, know yourself. Do what yourself's supposed to do. Do what you're here to do. Okay? This is the end of the video. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.